Hi, Mario Vittoni with another edition of Lifeline's Safety and Rescue at Sea for Soundings magazine. I wanted to talk this week about the recovery of someone from cold water. Last week we talked about hypothermia, but it turns out there's just as many misconceptions about how you handle a patient or how you take care of someone who's been in cold water or who's hypothermic. You hear every time there's a rescue of someone from a cold environment, you hear they were taken to the hospital and treated for mild hypothermia. There is no treatment for mild hypothermia except for, get them warm and dry and keep them that way until they're warm and dry and no longer hypothermic. Once they're removed from the environment, the body will warm itself back up if they're just mildly hypothermic. Certainly if they walked into the ambulance, there was no treatment involved. But between that variable and someone who's all the way unconscious from hypothermia, there's a lot of in-betweens there. And I wanted to write this week about how do you as a layperson or just a boater who's not a paramedic or not a professional, how do you care for someone who you've taken out of a really cold water environment who may have been in there for a long time? Now, a long time, that's a pretty open variable there, right? So how long is long? How cold is cold? How affected are they? You're not going to go into triage in the field there and try and figure out someone's medical condition. So I say that you just treat everyone who comes out of a cold water environment the same way. And I wanted to write about that this week and talk to you about it. Some of the misconceptions are that you rub someone who's cold, you dry them off and you do some vigorous rubbing of their shoulders and warm them up. It's absolutely not what you do. There's misconceptions about whether they should have a drink or not. And if someone's cold and shivering and they've been in cold water for a while, what do you think's better for them? A nice hot cup of coffee or an icy cold Coke? It's actually the icy cold Coke because shivering burns calories. Shivering's an effective way to warm the body up, and what they need is more calories. The temperature difference in the liquid they're drinking doesn't really matter that much. Because remember, their core is warm, so putting warm water in the warm core isn't as effective as putting calories into the body to give them fuel to shiver with. So there's ways to pull someone out of the water. There's ways to care for them after you get them out. And generally, that's what we talked about this week, the 4 or 5 things you want to do to a person who you've removed from a cold water environment. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for reading. If you have any questions, email me at mario@mariovittoni.com or comment on Facebook or on the article itself. Contact me through the website and I'll get back to you. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Lifelines.